Welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this little cardigan sweater, coat, or jacket for boys and girls between 0 and 3 months. Now, you can easily make it smaller or bigger from a newborn size and up to 24 months. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. Now, stay tuned. In another tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the matching little hat, and if you want to make matching booties, in the information box I'll go ahead and leave you links to tutorials that I already have in my channel, so be sure to look there. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop up here on the right hand side and in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, to make this little cardigan sweater and the matching little hat, this is the yarn that I used by this brand. It's called Loops Threads. This is Impeccable yarn. It's a number 4 yarn. The color that I used here is called Blue Haze, and I used a total of 120 grams, about 64 grams in white and about 56 grams in the Blue Haze color. You will also need 5 14mm size button. You will need less or more depending on the size that you make, and you can also use any Aran weight yarn or 10 ply. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe, activate the notifications bell, and remember, all of my tutorials are always in English and in Spanish. Thanks so much for watching. To make this little sweater, I'll be using this 5mm crochet hook or an H hook, and today I'm using this number 4 yarn. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn I'm going to use for the size that I'm making here in this tutorial. So here to begin, I have 42 chains. The stitch multiple to this base chain, it's multiples of 4. This chain without stretching, it's measuring about 28 centimeters, which is about 11 inches. Now, if you're off by 1 or 2 centimeters, it's okay. Continue. So here to begin with the first row, into the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. Into this 4th chain, I'm going to make a double crochet. Now, these 3 chains here at the beginning counts as 1 double crochet. Here I have 2 into the next chain, make a double crochet. I have 3 double crochets including the 3 chains. Now into the next stitch, I'm going to make an increase. So make 2 double crochets here. This is a double crochet increase. And this is how we're going to continue. I'm going to make 1 double crochet into the next 3 chains. That's 1, 2, 3, and into the next chain, I'm going to make a double crochet increase. 1 and 2. Again, you're going to repeat the same thing. You're going to make 3 double crochets, then into the next a double crochet increase, and you're going to continue like this up to the last 4 chains. I will meet you here to show you how we're going to finish this first row. I'm here at the end of this first row. Up to here, this is the last increase that I did. I have 45 double crochets, and I still have 4 chains left. Here at the end, I'm going to make 1 double crochet into each one of these chains, so that at the end of this first row, I finish with 49 double crochets. Here at the end, I'm not going to increase. And here's the first row with a total of 49 double crochets. Now for row 2, chain 2 and turn. These 2 chains never count as a stitch. Now in this row, I'm going to make 4 double crochets, then into the next I'm going to make a double crochet increase. So beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the next 2, 1 and 2. That's the double crochet increase, and then again you're going to make 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, and into the next a double crochet increase. And that's how you're going to continue for the rest of the second row. 4, 2, 4, 2, all the way to the end. I will meet you at the end of this row to show you how we're going to finish it. I'm here at the end of the second row. Now here's my last increase. Up to here I have a total of 54 double crochets, and I still have 4 stitches left. Here at the end I'm just going to make 1 double crochet on each one of these last 4. So that's 2, 3, and here at the end I have these chains, so make a double crochet here into the 3rd chain. And this is how I finished this second row with a total of 58 double crochets. Now for row 3, chain 2 and turn. Now in this row I'm going to make 5 double crochets, then an increase. And let me show you. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make your first double crochet. That's 1, into the next, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the next an increase. So that's right there. Again, you're going to make 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a double crochet increase into the next. This is how you're going to continue for the rest of this 3rd row. You're just going to make 5, 2, 5, 2 all the way to the end. I will meet you right about here before we finish to show you how we're going to finish this 3rd row. I'm here at the end of this 3rd row. At the end of this row I have 67 double crochets. Now after I finish the last increase right here, I just finished with these last 4 double crochets. So I have 67 double crochets at the end of this 3rd row. Now for row 4 I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now in this row I'm going to make 6 double crochets, then a double crochet increase. So let me show you. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now into the next, make a double crochet increase. And this is how you're going to continue for this 4th row. You're going to make 6, then 2, 6, 2 all the way to the end. I will meet you here at the end. Here at the end you're going to make these last 4 double crochets just like we have been doing at the end of each row. We're always going to finish with 4 double crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this 4th row. I'm here at the end of this 4th row. At the end of this row I have 76 double crochets. After I did the last increase, I finished here with these last 4 double crochets just like we have been finishing at the end of each row. Now for row 5 I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now for row 5 I'm going to make 7 double crochets and then a double crochet increase. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet. That's 1, into the next, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, into the next, a double crochet increase. And this is how you're going to continue for the rest of this 5th row. 7, 2, 7, 2, and then you're going to finish here at the end with these last 4 double crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this 5th row. I'm here at the end of this 5th row. Here at the end I finished with these last 4 double crochets. I have a total of 85 double crochets at the end of this 5th row. Now for row 6 I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now in this 6th row what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 6 double crochets, then into the next a double crochet increase. Let me show you. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet. A double crochet on top of the next, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now into the next, make a double crochet increase. And this is how you're going to continue for this 6th row. You're going to make 6 double crochets, then a double crochet increase. 6, 2, 6, 2, all the way to the end of this row. I'll meet you at the end. I finished making the 6th row. Now here at the end, I did my last increase right here, and then I had one last stitch left. So into this last stitch, I did a double crochet. At the end of this 6th row, I have 97 double crochets, and the yoke is done. Now from here on, this is going to be the front of the sweater, and this is going to be the back side of the sweater. Make sure you put a stitch marker here to mark the front of the sweater. Row 6 was worked from the wrong side. Now in the next row, we're going to separate the sleeves. So row 1 of the body is going to be on the right side. Now the yoke as it is, it's measuring about, let's see, it's about 9.5 centimeters, which is about 3.75 inches. So in the next row, I'm going to use this white yarn. So here at the end, I cut my yarn and pass my yarn through that last loop. If you're not changing yarn color, then all you need to do is just chain 2 and turn. Now, like I said, in the next row, we're going to divide the sleeves. So here I'm going to tell you how I placed my stitch markers. Now for each one of the front panels, I have 13 stitches. For each one of the sleeves, I have 22 stitches, and for the back side, I have 27 stitches. So that's a total of 97 stitches for the last row. Now to begin the next row, row 1, I'm going to go here on top of the last stitch, and I'm going to grab a loop here. Again, if you're not changing yarn color, then just go ahead and chain 2 and turn. Here I'm going to use this white. It's also number 4 weight yarn. So here chain 2, beginning on top of this first double crochet, make a double crochet, and then work these stitches for the front panel. There are 13. So there's 3, 12, 13. Now I made these 13 double crochets for the first front panel. Now here into this 13 stitch, I'm going to make 2 more double crochets, so that in this same stitch here, I have 3 stitches. Now this front panel has 15 double crochets. Now to divide the first sleeve, I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to skip 22 stitches for the first sleeve, and right into the stitch after the stitch marker, I'm going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to continue along the back side and finish making these double crochets for the back side. I will meet you right here to show you how I'm going to separate the second sleeve. I finished making these stitches here for the back side. Now into this last stitch here, I'm going to make 2 more double crochets, so that at the end here I have a total of 31 stitches for the back side. Now to separate the second sleeve, chain 2, skip 22 stitches, and into the stitch after the stitch marker, make 3 double crochets. Now one thing I forgot to mention when we divided the first sleeve, it's that if you want to add more chains here under this sleeve to add to the chest measurement, you can add as many chains as you want, or if you want to add less, that's fine too. There is no stitch multiple. So now I did my 3 double crochets into this double crochet, and now I'm going to continue and work 1 double crochet for each one of these remaining stitches for the front panel. I will meet you here at the end of this first row. I finished the first row. At the end of this first row where we separated the sleeves, I have a total of 65 stitches. Each one of the front panels has 15 and 15 stitches. For the back side, I have 31 stitches, and under each sleeve I have 2 chains. So that's a total of 65 stitches including the chains for this first row. Now for the second row, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now here I'm going to work 1 double crochet for each one of these stitches for the front panel, which is 15 stitches, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to work the chains under each of the sleeves. So I will meet you right here. I finished making these 15 double crochets for this first front panel. Now I have the 2 chains here under the sleeves. This is what we're going to do. Into the first chain, make 2 double crochets. And into the second chain, make 2 double crochets as well. So here I have 4 stitches under the sleeves now. Now continue and work 1 double crochet for each one of these stitches for the back side. Here we have 31. Once you get under the second sleeve where we have the 2 chains, you're going to do the same thing we did here. Into the first chain, make 2 double crochets, and into the second chain, also make 2 double crochets, and then continue along and finish the second front panel. I will meet you at the end of this second row. I'm here at the end of the second row. I have a total of 69 stitches at the end of this second row. From here on, we're going to continue with 69 stitches. Now for row 3, I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to turn. In the third row, I'm going to make front post and back post double crochets. So here to begin, on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet and then a front post double crochet into the second, back post double crochet into the next, front post double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how I'm going to continue for this third row. I'm just going to alternate between front post and back post double crochets. Continue. I'll meet you here at the end of this third row. I'm here at the end of this third row. In this row I did front post and back post double crochets. Now to finish, we always finish with a double crochet on top of the last stitch. And this is the third row. Now from here on, we're just going to continue and repeat these 3 rows. At the end of each row, you're going to have 69 stitches. You're going to do 2 rows of double crochets. Then in the third row, you're going to make front post and back post double crochets. So let me start you off here for row 4. In row 4 and 5, you're just going to make double crochets. Then in row 6, you're going to do front post and back post double crochet. So beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a double crochet, into the next a double crochet, and so on. Here you're just going to continue and make double crochets for the 4th row, and then chain 2, turn for the 5th row, and then repeat the same thing. And like I said, in the 6th row, you're going to make front post and back post double crochets. We're just going to continue and repeat these 3 rows. Continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so I will meet you at the end of that row. I'm almost done with the body here of the sweater. I have done a total of 12 rows. Row 12 was worked on the wrong side. Now it's measuring from the top of the shoulder to the end of the last row here of the body. It's measuring about 24.5 centimeters, which is about 9.5 inches. If you want to make this part here longer, you can. That would be up to you. Now for row 13, I'm going to do 1 row here for the hem. So to do this, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of this last double crochet, I'm going to make a half double crochet. Now into the next stitch, I'm going to work a back post, half double crochet, then a front post, half double crochet, back post, half double crochet, front post, half double crochet, and so on. Here I'm making half double crochets instead of double crochets because I don't want this to be too long. Continue for this last row. I will meet you here at the end. I'm here at the end of the 13th row. In this row I did front post and back post half double crochets. Now here at the end I did a half double crochet on top of the last stitch. Now what we're going to do next is the front panels. I'm going to go here to the left side with the sweater facing me. We're going to go here to the left side and we're going to go up along this front panel. So here to begin, I'm going to make 1 chain, and at the end of this last row I'm going to make 2 single crochets. At the end of the next row, make 1. At the end of the next row, make 2. At the end of the next row, 1. This is how we're going to continue. So 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way to the top. I will meet you right here and I'll tell you how many single crochets I have so that you can make the same number. So I will meet you right here. I finished making these single crochets along this first front panel. Now up to here, the last row here, the row of chains, I did 1 single crochet, and I have a total of 30 single crochets. And now if you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. The important thing is that when you do the second side, you're going to do it exactly in the same way with the same number of single crochets. Now this little sweater is for boys or unisex. I'm going to make my buttonholes here on this side. If you're making it for girls and you want to be precise, this would be the side where you would make your buttonholes. So just go ahead and forward the video to this part where I show you how I'm going to make them here. They will be done in the second row, so it's just a matter of placing your stitch markers and then just making a chain and then skipping a certain number of stitches in between the buttonholes. That's the only difference. But like I said, you can make it like I'm going to do it, which is a unisex baby sweater. So here to begin the second row, chain 1 and turn. For row 2 and 3, all I'm going to do is single crochets on each stitch here, so that at the end of each row I have 30 single crochets as well. For this side, since we're not adding buttonholes, we're just going to make single crochets for each stitch here, so that I have 30 stitches at the end. So continue, finish this second row. Here at the end, you're going to make your last single crochet, then you're going to chain 1, turn, make a single crochet in that first stitch, and then continue your way up for the third row. I will meet you here at the top to show you how we're going to work the neckline. I finished making this third row. For the first front panel, I have 30 single crochets, so I'm right here at the top. We're going to continue along the neckline and make single crochets as well. So to begin here, I'm going to chain 1 into this last single crochet that I did here at the end of the third row, make a single crochet. Now into the second row, same thing, a single crochet, into the third row, a single crochet, and then continue around the neckline, making 1 single crochet into the same chain that you did the double crochets here. So just insert your hook there like this, and that's how we're going to work the neckline, just making single crochets like this all around. Now continue. I will meet you right here at this other end to show you how we're going to make the second front panel. I finished making these single crochets for the neckline. I have 41 single crochets up to here. Now what we're going to do next is the second front panel. So here to begin, I'm going to chain 1. At the end here, I have this last single crochet. I'm going to make a single crochet there, and then I have the first row here for the yoke. Here I'm going to make 1. In the next row, I'm going to make 2. In the next row, make 1, and at the end of the next row, 2. 1 at the end of the next, then 2. And this is how I'm going to work my way down, making single crochets. Here I'm going to make sure that I make the same number of single crochets as I did here for this first front panel. For me, I had 30, so I'm going to make sure to have 30. I will meet you here at the end of this first row. I finished making this first row. For the second front panel, I have 30 single crochets. Now again, remember, the important thing is that you have the same number of stitches as you did for the first front panel. That's the important thing. Now in the next row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my buttonhole. So here, before we continue, you need to place some stitch markers. We have 30 stitches, so here you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th stitch, place a stitch marker. Then you're going to count. After the stitch marker, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then place the second stitch marker. Again, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the next place a stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the next place a stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, place a stitch marker, and here at the end I have one last stitch. And that's how you're going to place your stitch marker. So let me show you here what we're going to do. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Here I'm going to make these, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet. So the first one is right here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have a stitch marker in the next stitch, so I'm going to chain 1, skip this stitch, and into the next after the stitch marker, make a single crochet and continue until you come to the next one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, skip 1 single crochet, and into the next make a single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and into the next make a single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, skip 1 single crochet, and into the next make a single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, skip 1 single crochet, and into the last single crochet here make a single crochet. And here is the second row with 5 buttonholes. Now for row 3, chain 1 and turn. Here we're going to work our way down, making single crochets on each one of the single crochets, and then in the chain space you're going to make a single crochet. And that's how we're going to work the third row. At the end of this third row, I'm going to have 30 single crochets. Make sure you make a single crochet in the chain space, and make sure that whatever buttons you're going to use, make sure that they fit through this chain space that we made here. These are the buttonholes. At the end of the video, when I give you the finished measurements, I'm going to tell you what size buttons I'm going to use for my little sweater. So continue, finish the third row, and then I'll come back and show you how to make the sleeves. I finished the third row here for the front panel. Now at the end, I just did my last stitch, cut my yarn and passed my yarn through that last loop, and then I hid my ends. Now I also went ahead and attached my buttons. I used 5, and these are the buttons that I used. These are 14mm size. You can also use 15. 12 or 13 are too small, so make sure that you use 14 or 15mm size. It also depends on the hook size that you're using, so make sure that the chain space here, you just try your buttons before you add them to make sure that they fit through and they're nice and tight like these are. So this part here is done. Now what we're going to do next is the sleeves. I went ahead and did this side, so I'm going to show you here on this side how we're going to make the sleeves. It's going to be done exactly in the same way, so make sure that when you do the other side you do it exactly how I'm going to show you here. So to begin, I'm using the same hook size, the 5mm hook size, and we're going to start right here, right under the sleeve. Under the sleeve we added 2 chains, and then in the next row we added these 4 double crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook right in the middle between these 4 double crochets, so 2 and 2 on either side. Now grab a loop here, bring it through, chain 2, and make a double crochet right here into this same stitch. Now I'm going to make a double crochet. You can either make it in between the next 2 double crochets or right in this corner. I'm going to make it in this corner here. I'm going to make a double crochet. So far I have 2. Remember, the 2 chains never count. Now I have this double crochet. This is the first row for the body. So right here into this end here, make a double crochet, but don't close it. Leave 2 loops, yarn over, and then go into the first double crochet out of the 22 that were left for the sleeve. Insert your hook into that first double crochet, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now here I did a double crochet decrease because I don't want a gap between this double crochet and the first one here for the sleeve. This stitch here counts as 1 double crochet. Now I'm going to continue all around the sleeve, just making 1 double crochet for each stitch until I come to the other side. Right here, this is the last double crochet. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to finish this first row. I'm here at this other end for this first row for the first sleeve. Now up to here I have 23 double crochets. I still have one more stitch here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a double crochet decrease just like I did here on this other side. So I'm going to yarn over, insert your hook into this last stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go to the end of the next row, this row in white, which is the first row for the body, insert your hook there, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the double crochet decrease. You can remove your stitch markers, we don't need them anymore. And now to finish, I need to make one more double crochet. You can either make it here or here. I'm going to go right here and make one more, so that at the end of this first row I have 25 double crochets now. Now to finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And that's how I finished the first row with 25 double crochets. From here on, we're going to continue with 25 double crochets. Now for the second row, I'm going to chain 2, and right into this same stitch here, I'm going to make a double crochet. That's the first one, and then on top of each one of these remaining ones, I'm also going to make a double crochet, so that at the end of the second row, I also have 25 double crochets. Continue like this all around. I'll meet you at the end of this second row. I'm here at the end of this second row. I have 25 double crochets. Now to finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this second row with 25 double crochets. From here on, we always finish in the same way, by making a slip stitch on top of the first stitch. And to begin here, the third row, I'm going to chain 2, and in this row what I'm going to do is I'm going to make front post and back post double crochets, but you can continue with just double crochets if you want. I'm going to continue with this pattern here, which is what I did here for the sleeve. The only difference is that here for the body we turned for every row because we were working in rows. Since we're working in the round here, we don't need to turn for every row, so we're just going to continue and work this pattern in the round on the same side. So here, chain 2. So for the third row, begin with a front post double crochet, the next one back post double crochet, front post into the next, and so on. And this is how we're going to continue for this third row. Now continue, finish this row, I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this third row. In this row I did front post and back post double crochets. My last stitch here is a front post double crochet. Now to finish each row from here on, we always go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here's the third row. From here on, we're going to repeat these 3 rows. We're going to repeat 2 rows of double crochets and 1 row of front post and back post double crochets. That's the pattern that we're going to continue with. And at the end of each row, we're always going to have 25 stitches. So here I'm going to start the 4th row for you. I'm going to chain 2, and beginning on top of this first stitch, make the first double crochet, then continue all around making double crochets. At the end of this row, you're going to have 25 double crochets, and to finish, go on top of the first stitch, join with a slip stitch, chain 2, and then repeat the same thing for the 5th row. And then for row 6, you're going to do the row of front post and back post double crochets, and that's how we're going to continue here for the sleeves. Now for the sleeves, we're going to do a total of 11 rows. I have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and then we're going to do 2 rows here of front post and back post half double crochets in white. So continue, finish the 11 rows, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the cuff. I finished making 11 rows here for the sleeve. We have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. The last 2 rows here are double crochet rows. Now for the cuff, we're going to make 2 rows of front post and back post half double crochets. So beginning here, this is where I finished the last row. I just joined with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, and passed my yarn through that last loop. So insert your hook right into this same stitch that you joined to in the last row, grab a loop, bring it through, chain 1. Now if you're not changing yarn color, then just go ahead and chain 1. Now here, beginning with this first double crochet, make a front post half double crochet. Next one, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. And this is how we're going to continue for row 12, and then for row 13 you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to join to finish row 12 with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then repeat the same thing, front post and back post half double crochets. And that's how we're going to work the next 2 rows, row 12 and 13. So continue, finish this part, and then I'll come back and show you the finished sweater. I finished making the cuff. I did these last 2 rows of front post and back post half double crochets. Now here at the end, I just joined to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn and pass my yarn through that last loop, and the sleeve is all done. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing I did here for the first sleeve. You're going to do it here when you do the second sleeve. It's done exactly in the same way. So this little cardigan sweater is all done. This is how it looks. Here I went ahead and added my buttons. These are 14mm size buttons, but I think you can also use 15mm size. I used 5 buttons, and I used a total of about 120 grams of yarn. In this blue color I used about 56 grams, and in the white color I used about 64 grams. So that's a total of about 120 grams of yarn, of number 4 yarn for this little sweater. Now let me give you the finished measurements. The sleeve length from the top of the shoulder to the end of the cuff, it's measuring about 24.5 centimeters, which is about 9.75 inches. From under the sleeve to the end of the sleeve, it's measuring about 14.5 centimeters, which is about 5.75 inches. Now this measurement here right across, it's measuring about 11 centimeters, which is about 4.25 inches. The total length from the top of the shoulder to the end here of the last row of the hem, it's measuring about 25.5 centimeters, which is about 10 inches. Oh, and the sleeve width, just the top, it's measuring about 8 centimeters, which is about 3 1/8 of an inch. And the chest measurement, just the top, it's measuring about 22 centimeters, which is about 9.75 inches. So based on these measurements, this little sweater is for boys and girls between 0 and 3 months. I think that a 4-month-old can also fit into this little sweater. Now you can also make it smaller or bigger. In the information box I always leave information on how you can make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. So this little sweater is done. Comment below and let me know if you want me to make a matching little pants. I already have the matching little hat, which I will upload in another tutorial, so stay tuned for this tutorial. It's a little hat that I did to match the little sweater. I know many of you comment and ask for me to make this kind of sets where I have a little sweater and a little matching hat and sometimes baby booties, but in my channel I have tons of baby booties already, so I always leave the links to those tutorials in the information box as well. Now comment, let me know if you want me to make like a baby blanket or maybe the matching little pants. Based on the amount of comments that I get requesting that, I'll gladly go ahead and do that. So this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time.